Hey there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and I'm so excited because today I am putting up my very first Christmas card for the 2017 season, and it is this cute window card using the Lawn Fawn Christmas Dreams stamp set that you see there on the left. And I have stamped all of this out using VersaFine Onyx Black ink onto some Bristol smooth cardstock, and I'm going to color it all up with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and I'm going to be coloring zig into zig, so I won't be using any water today, and I'm going to speed this up because I essentially use all the same colors that you're going to see me color these few items with on the stockings and like the cookie tray and the presents. So I'm going to skip over the smaller items, otherwise we would be here all day because this is already a pretty long video just because of all the steps involved with this card. So I hope you're going to bear with me. But anyway, so to start off with, I have base coated my tree in 47 May Green, and I'm adding shading with 44 Deep Green. And then I'm going to blend that back out with the 47 May Green. And the cool thing about doing zigs into zigs is that the color is very, very bright, which is really fun and what I was going for with this cute Lawn Fawn Christmas card. And I just did a little bit of shading like under the layers of the trees and then along the garland, like a little bit more on the bottom than the top, just to add some very subtle shading there. And so one of my accent colors for my little Christmas scheme here is this sort of turquoisey color. So it's 36 light blue that then I grayed down a little bit with 91 light gray. And then the garland, the rest of the garland will be gold, which is this permanent chalk marker from American Crafts. And then I'm going to use my Jelly Roll Stardust clear pen to add silver to the remainder of the garland. And then the star is also gold, as you can see there. So there's the Jelly Roll pen. So the garland is like turquoise, gold, silver, yada, yada. And then I do wind up using Nuvo glitter drops later just because I can't help myself. And so then the tree trunk is 60 brown with some 65 mid brown added in for like wood grain, and then I just blended it a little bit with the 60. Now here's the 36 light blue, very, very bright for the rug that the cat will be sleeping on, but I'll gray that down a little bit later with the 91 light gray. And this is a 92 blue gray that I'm adding just a tiny, tiny bit of shading to the turquoise balls, and then I'm blending back out with the 36 light blue. My fireplace is going to be like gray stone or tile, so I base coated the whole thing except for the mantle and the log and the fire in 91 light gray, and then I'm adding in just a bit of the 92 blue gray, like along the inside of the fire. There's a piece that goes right under the mantle, and then here and there along the edges of the stone or the tile. And then I'm adding 90 gray, which is really dark gray, like almost black. Just a tiny bit here and there because it's a really, really strong color. And if I added too much, the whole thing would turn like super dark gray, and I didn't want that. So I'm blending all of it back with the 91 light gray. So you can see by just adding in just a little bit of that darker color, it gives some life to the like edges between the stones or the tile without like completely turning the whole thing dark gray. And there I'm like graying down that blue rug because it's super bright with the light gray. Now for my mantle and the log, I'm going to add 64 oatmeal, then add in some 60 brown, and I'm just sort of sketching in like wood grain randomly. And then I'm going to take 65 mid brown and do the same thing. And then I'm going to blend it back just a little bit with the 64 oatmeal. I wanted to keep that wood grain kind of look in there, so I didn't like smooth it all out. I left that wood grain in, but I kind of smoothed it out a touch, if that makes sense. Now my fire is 51 lemon yellow, followed by a little bit of 52 bright yellow, and then this is 50 yellow that I'm just kind of blending together to get a nice base. And I'm adding in 70 orange, blending back a little bit with 50 yellow, and then a little bit more, I think, with the lemon yellow. Although that might be it. Oh, I guess that was it. All right, so here's my glitter. Gotta have glitter. So I decided to add Nuvo glitter drops in Golden Sunset to the gold balls and then the star on the very top of the tree, just because I had to have some extra sparkle. Now for my Dreaming Cat he or she is dreaming about a fish present. So the bow is green. So it's again the 47 May green and the 44 deep green. My fish is 50 yellow with a little bit of 52 bright yellow and then a tiny bit of orange, and then blend it all back with the 50 yellow to make it look, I guess, like a goldfish. And then the cat is gray and white striped. So I'm taking the 91 light gray and I'm putting in the stripes on the cat's body. And then I'm going to take the 92 blue gray and add in just a bit here and there just to darken down the stripes just a tiny bit, give it a little dimension. And then I'm blending it back with the 91 light gray again. And then I will add a little bit of black to the cat's nose to finish him off, and then a tiny bit of pale pink to the insides of the ears, just to give him just a little bit of pink in his ears, because, you know, it's got to have a little pink on his face, right? So cute. Okay, so this might be a little confusing, but you'll need a 5x5 card base with this opening cut into it, which is 5/8 of an inch inside from each vertical edge, and then 3/4 of an inch down from the top and the bottom. And you're gonna have to cut that opening into that. And then you're gonna need a second piece of white cut to 5x5 with that same opening cut into it. So you don't see that here, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. And then we've got 2 of those windows cut in black cardstock from the Garden Notes square window and flower box die from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And then there's a piece of acetate that I've cut to 3.5 by 3.5 because this frame is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now I've die cut all my little components out using the matching dies, and you might notice that the presents have been kind of chopped apart. And what I've done is fussy cut them apart with my scissors and then taken a white glaze pen and covered up any like black lines that might have been next to any of the packages that I cut apart from like other packages that were right next to it. Hopefully that makes sense, because I'm going to stack those up in a pile. Now on the inside for your wall color, this is Gina K Designs Blue Denim, and it's cut to 3 inches by, just a little bit over 5. And then the floor is going to be this wood grain paper from the Modus Scrap Christmas Holidays 6x6 paper pack. Now here's where you need to do what I say and not what I do. So I did this on the card base front, but really this should just be a separate piece that you're coloring red. It does not need to be attached to the back. So just cut a 5x5 piece of white, cut out that opening, and then color it with the DR1 Spectrum Noir marker. And this was kind of a happy accident for me. I discovered accidentally that Zigs and Spectrum Noirs work kind of interestingly together. I wanted to create kind of like a rusticy barnwood look on the front. So I wound up coloring the whole thing red with my Spectrum Noir and then using the wine red Zig pen to create like kind of wood grain or like distressing on the red painted wood front. And they work really well together. And because they're different, they're not, one's alcohol and one's water, the alcohol marker doesn't blend it out. So it stays there. And I thought it was kind of a cool effect. So I wanted to share that. And now we're going to adhere the acetate to one of those die cut window panels. So I'm taking 3x3 double-sided adhesive tape, and I'm going to adhere the acetate down. And I kind of screwed this up because I should have pulled the tape off the middle piece, which you'll see me do here, and then fix it a little bit. But I do get it fixed. And then I just press it in place so that it covers up the back of one of the windows. So the black should be on the front side if you have double-sided paper. And then to adhere it to the window frame, the red part, you just put a 3mm adhesive on the outside and then just adhere it down into place. And then that is going to go on the front of the card. Now on the inside, I need to kind of adhere some of these little pieces together. So my Dear Santa letter and cookies is getting adhered to the mantle with some 3mm adhesive. Then those are my little stockings that I just drew patterns on using the same color zigs. And I'll list the colors on my blog post if you want to know specifically what colors I used on each thing. And I'm just using a quickie glue pen to adhere those down to the mantle. And then the cat will need to be adhered to the rug. So I'm going to, again, use some 3mm adhesive to do that. And my packages that you saw earlier, I had cut apart. Now I'm going to stick them all together in a big clump. So I'm taking Scotch tape and putting them on the back of some of the presents to hold them together. And I don't know, I like using Scotch tape for this just because it's easier than trying to hold it all together and glue it. Although I do glue the top little package there with some quickie glue pen to the very top. And that is my like little clump of presents that I will put in front of the tree. Now on the inside, I'm going to adhere down the paint or the wall color using 10 millimeter Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive tape. And I'm just going to take the top off and just bump it right up against the fold and the edge just to make sure I've got it working correctly. And then I'll peel off the rest and adhere it in place. And then I'm going to take that wood grain paper and I'm going to put it on the bottom and complete the rest of the inside of the card. So it's basically supposed to be like a wall with some floor. Now that wood grain paper does have some flowers printed on it that do show in my completed card. That didn't really bother me. I kind of liked that they were sort of Christmassy and it wasn't a big deal to me. But if it is going to bother you, I would suggest getting like a different kind of wood grain paper. Or you could always just use a color for like carpet or draw in your own wood floor. Any of those options would work. But that is my little sort of floor or wall and floor. So now I'm going to adhere my scene components down to the inside. And I will be using a combination of 6mm and 3mm Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive tape. And as you can see, like the only tricky thing here might be getting your fireplace lined up correctly. So you need to have the hearth below the wall. So that's going to be on the floor, if that makes sense, hopefully. And you can see I've adhered the presents in front of the tree and the cat's been adhered down, the fireplace is adhered down, and now I'm just adhering down the dream bubble that's going to go above the cat's head, showing that the cat is dreaming about a fish present for Christmas. And then I decided there should probably be a little shading, like a shadow of the cat on the rug and the tree on the floor with the presents from the fire. To be completely honest, I'm not sure this was totally necessary because it would make more sense if I had darkened down the room quite a bit so that you knew that the fire was like really a main source of lighting. So honestly, I'm not sure you would really need that bit if you're going to reproduce this card. And honestly, I'm not sure it was even necessary on there, but I added a little bit of a touch there. And then I just browned down my floor just a tiny bit with some 64 oatmeal marker, and then added a little more shading to my hearth with the 91 light gray. Now for greetings, I am stamping these like behind the window frame on the front. So the first one from the stamp set is "May all your holiday dreams come true," or something like that. And I'm stamping that on the bottom in VersaFine Onyx black ink using my Misty. It stamped great the first time, but it doesn't always, so that's why I use my Misty. And now I'm using VersaMark on the Merry Christmas that's going at the top because I'm going to emboss that in white heat embossing powder. And again, Misty's great for that because in case I didn't get a good like stamp of the Merry Christmas, I could do it again. So I've just heat embossed that down. And now I'm going to put my window in place on the front. So to do that, I'm using a combination of 10mm double-sided adhesive tape and 3mm double-sided adhesive tape to really like cover the entire front of the card so that the window is really going to stick on there and not come off. And it will look like all one piece. So I'm just going to peel the adhesive bits off, or the backing off, and then just press it down in place. And then on the inside, I've already put 3mm adhesive on the cross on the inside, and then I'm just putting it on the outside edges, and now I'm just going to line it up really carefully with the one on the front and press it down in place. And that completes the window frame on the inside and the outside. And then as my final touch, I had to use this really cool snow pen. It's from Pentart. I got it at my local scrapbook store called Affordable Scrapbooking. Great little store if you're ever in Colorado. I had a hard time finding it on the internet, so I do have a link to it in the supplies, which are in the video description, but with Simon Says Stamp, but I'm not sure that they actually have it in stock right now, but hopefully they'll get it before the end of Christmas. So you just kind of draw it on, and it's basically kind of like grit paste. If you ever used distress grit paste, it's like this gritty white three-dimensional paint basically. And then after it dried, I colored it with my Spectrum Noir clear sparkle marker to get it all glittery, because I cannot have a Christmas card without glitter. You gotta have glitter. And additionally, I also added Spectrum Noir sparkle marker to the cuffs on the stockings on the inside as well, because, you know, gotta have extra glitter on your Christmas card, in my opinion. So there's a good close-up of the front of the window, and there's a good look at the coloring on the inside. And as you probably noticed in the front, I did a second one with the dog, which is also in the stamp set. So I'd have two, and they're super cute. I think the stamp set is totally adorable, especially if you have pets. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment, because I love to hear from you. And here are 2 more Christmas projects that I did last year. So you could check those out, although I will have additional Christmas projects coming in the weeks leading up to Christmas. Thanks!